So the role of the psychotherapist, we're all each other's psychotherapists. So the course is going to give us a way to manage that. Basically, it's through union, through seeing ourselves as equal to the one in front of us, as the same actually to the one in front of us, that we start to manifest healing for each other. In the course, it uses the term psychotherapy, similar to when it talks about teacher and student. It's the same analogy, but slightly different form. So teacher, we're all teachers and we're all students, and we're all psychotherapists and we're all patients. So the Course in Miracles is, it is psychotherapy. All illness is mental illness, the Course says. And so the real work is in your psyche, is in your mind. And so it's a psychotherapeutic process, but unlike any kind of psychotherapy on the planet, really. But you find this information, interestingly enough, sort of leaking into the newer forms of psychotherapy that are out there. But anyway, there are ways to approach it. So ultimately, it is your mind causing your body, your brain to function in a certain way, but then your body gets locked into that way of functioning. And it's a self-fulfilling loop. It's like, the fear caused your brain to send certain switches on and certain switches off. And then because it's like that, it's creating a chemistry in your body that generates an emotion that supports that belief or that feeling. And it's this loop, which is similar to what the Course really is saying about what's happening for us. This level of reality, sometimes you need things at this level of reality to sort of get you to a certain place that you're ready to start, dealing more in the metaphysical, mental, emotional levels. When you're feeling anxiety or you're in an anxious state and it's not based in any ultimate reality, like there's no saber-toothed tiger coming after you, the first step is to ask yourself the question, is it true? Is this true? Right? That's straight out of the Course. I mean, the Course has been talking about that since the 70s, right? So is it true? If you question the belief, it disables the belief. And so then what is true might be able to show up. And almost always the opposite has some degree of truth to it. Almost always. Because then, you come up, well, what's the opposite? And ask if that's true. And you'll almost always be able to find evidence for the opposite, right? So the thing that was creating the fear, the idea that was creating the fear, you can't know if that's true. But when you ask about the opposite, you can almost always come up with an experience that proves that that is at least partially true. It's through union, through seeing ourselves as equal to the one in front of us, as the same actually to the one in front of us, that we start to manifest healing for each other. But we have to be healed. Our mind has to be healed relative to the person we're dealing with. If we feel any friction, any sort of annoyance at all, that's our illusion kicking in, right? And when that's going on, you can't really be used as a healer. So you have to check that, go in and ask. Healing is limited by the limitations of the psychotherapist, as it is limited by those of the patient. The aim of the process, therefore, is to transcend the limits or these limits. Neither can do this alone, but when they join, the potentiality for transcending all limitations has been given them. And so there's reason for hope. You don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be perfect. Right? It's in the union. I mean, just think about it. It makes so much sense. It's in the union that oneness, we would become aware of oneness. Oneness is the healing. Now, the extent of their success depends on how much of this potentiality they are willing to use. The willingness may come from either one at the beginning, and as the other shares it, it will grow. Progress becomes a matter of decision. It can reach almost to heaven or go no further than a step or two from hell. It is quite possible for psychotherapy to seem to fail. It is even possible for the result to look like retrogression. But in the end, there must be some success. One asks for help, another hears and tries to answer in the form of help. This is the formula for salvation, and it must heal. Divided goals alone can interfere with perfect healing.